All rise. Good evening, everyone. I call the City Council to order at 8 o'clock on Monday, January 27th, 2025. This meeting is being recorded. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This evening we have 13 items on the agenda, and I'll ask the City Clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting January 6th, 2025.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the minutes.
Motion made and second to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed 10-0. Agenda item number 2.
From City Council President Ossing, City Council regular meeting schedule and City Council committee assignments for the 2025 legislative year.
Councilor Roby. Motion made and second to accept and place on file. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The 2025 schedule and these committee assignments are filed 10-0. Agenda item number 3.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the application for special permit from Marlboro Maple Real Estate Trust for a drive-through window in an existing building to add a cafe at 420 Maple Street. Order number 24-100, 9317.
Okay, this public hearing will be taken up in 4 stages. First, with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And then finally, questions from the City Council. So I'll ask each person to speak to please state their name and address, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, councilmen and women. I'm the owner of 420 Maple Street. I'm
Can I get your name and address?
Charlotte Maynard,
Charlotte,
of Creative Development Company. And I am partnering with Christian. Christian is a small business owner who he can talk more about what he does. But we wanted to open a cafe, and at the tail end of the building at 420 Maple Street. We have done multiple reviews of the site plan and upgraded the striping, added a lot, as you can see here, a lot of vegetation where there was none before. We limited this.
Charlotte, just, if you disappear from the microphone, the audience, I mean, you can take the
At
microphone.
home can't see it.
You can take the microphone out and walk over there if you want.
Well, no, the issue is we worked hard with the town and to create better flow in the and more vegetation along Route 85. There you go. The cafe will have 2 entrances on both sides, so it'll have a very open feeling, and I think it would add a lot, not only to the 85 corridor, but also to the community in Marlboro in general, because it's a really, when you have the coffee, you will realize it's a really wonderful product. I will hand it over to Christian.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Christian Barragan. I own Saxonville Mills Cafe and Andina Cafe, located in Framingham, in the downtown of Framingham. We're from Colombia. We are a roastery company, a small company. We try to bring a specialty coffee to the community, to bring a nice space and atmosphere, to have a nice cup of coffee. We've been awarded last year as best coffee shop in Framingham by different applications, Job, Restaurant Guru, Restaurant, because we have a better quality, best quality of coffee. We dedicate to the community. We try to create a new location to bring more jobs to the community. We're going to create around like 10 to 15 new jobs, and we're going to create a very experience of coffee, hopefully for the community of Marlboro.
Thank you, Christian. Anything else you want to add, Charlotte, or do you want to show the folks, just the folks at home, where the drive-through portion is?
Here. Well, here, Steve will do it. Steve will show you. Steve is from Samiotis Consulting Engineers. He helped with the traffic flow. So you will come in off Walker. There'll be signage in various aspects to make sure that it's very clear how you access. And then you drive right there, and you can stack up, you order at the beginning, and then you pick up from a window there, and then you continue and you go back onto Route 85. That's how you exit out of the spot.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Please come up to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Stas Bourdain, 27 Jefferson Street, Marlboro. This is exciting, but I also wanted to ask you, what is the plan for roasting? Are you planning to roast at the location, or are you planning to roast elsewhere?
No, we have a location in Saxonville and 2 Central Street in Framingham. That's going to be our base for roasting. We really do operation roasting. We import our coffee directly from our farms in Colombia. We store us right there, and we roast it right there. This location is going to be our 3rd location, and it's only going to be for consumer coffee. It's not going to be roasting.
And besides the drive-through, will there be seating inside of the building?
Yeah, it's going to be a nice space, big space for seating. We're going to have, a lot of seating space.
And what's this?
The seating is shown in this plan right here.
Charlotte, I'm going to have to ask you to come to the microphone because
Sorry. The seating is shown on the plan. We have limited the amount of seats to, I think, under 40?
40 people, yes.
Yeah, so that would be 10,
About
10
exterior
tables
seating.
of 4.
Any exterior seating?
No, we
Only
don't have
interior.
we don't have the space for exterior seating. Although that would be lovely.
Are you planning to change any signage or anything else about the building?
No, there will be a sign above the door, like there are on tenants around that building. And then there's a stand-in sign here that will...
Charlotte, come on back to the microphone.
There's already existing sign. The name will be put on that sign, and then there'll be some directions, and that's
Okay.
it.
What about if I'd like to just come without a drive-through and try the coffee? Where would I park?
You can park in that open area and the other and the area on both sides, because you can enter on both sides of the building.
I'm familiar with that building. I used to go to the gym there for a while.
Oh, good.
But I didn't know this is happening, so this is exciting.
Oh,
Thank you.
good.
Thank you, Stas. Any other members of the public have questions? Any questions from members of the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Vital.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just curious, there has been previous retailers who wanted to go into this area. Have you talked to any of the abutters about this business?
I have not talked to any abutters. The abutters are all other businesses, but they are not competing businesses. There's the Ford dealer. There's the other car dealer on the corner of the Aussie.
Right.
And then there's a repair shop, and then on the other kind is another car dealer. So hopefully it will bring in customers to buy cars.
And one more question. There's a lot of drive-throughs around town and everywhere in America, and most of the time they have their own driveway that goes into the drive-through. But this one is going to be sharing the driveway to the drive-through with the parking lot. Do you see any problems with people, like, if there's a long line and your business is doing well, and I want to get out of a parking space, I won't be able to, or at least not easily?
Yep. I wish this was a Starbucks in some ways, because they probably pay much higher rent, but because this is a small business, it doesn't have the pull that you would think of as you know, a like 500 line thing. You're probably going to get, what do we think?
We got approximately around 120, 160 customers a day.
Just one other thing. So Steve Garvin, St. Meals Consultants, 28th Street in Framingham, Mass. So we looked in and met with city staff and came up with about a 4 or 5 queue for cars. They're mostly selling just coffee. So it's not like a place where you're waiting at Dunkin' Donuts for a sandwich to be made and the like. There's 2 lanes, so you can actually go by. It's directional, that if the queue's there, you can still drive around it and get in and out. So in no way does it back up the driving ability and maneuverability around the site.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Vital. Questions for the council? Councilor Orm.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. I see you got arrows in there. My question, obviously, a question was just asked about the internal part of that parking space. How about entering and exiting? Can you explain it a little better?
We're traffic engineering.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the council. Sean Kelly with Chapel Engineering. The access would essentially be maintained to what you have today, which is 2 driveways on Route 85 and 2 driveways on Walker Street. We have made some recommendations to improve the access. On the Walker Street side, within the islands between the driveways, there's some fairly tall vegetation today that blocks sight lines, so we have made some recommendations to cut that back and install pavement markers to better delineate inbound and outbound flows. And then on Route 85 at the northern driveway, the sight lines looking north are a little obstructed. There's a sign there. There's some grades in the road itself, both vertical and horizontal curvature. So we've made recommendations to restrict exiting traffic on 85 at that northern driveway to right turn only, no left turns out there. But other than that, the access would essentially be the same as it is today, just more cleaned up and a little safer.
So that middle exit entrance, that's going to be exit only, right turn only?
That would be right turn only, correct.
How about the other one that has the arrow coming in?
That would be, you could exit and exit there in both directions, enter and exit.
Have you reviewed the road, especially during traffic time, high traffic time periods, morning, especially morning? I use that road every day almost. And I'll be honest, my concern is everyone's trying to get into the single lane and they rush to get there. And there have been accidents.
Sure.
Because it's a bad intersection in respect to jumping ahead of the other car. Everyone's trying to get, I don't know why, because they're going to get stuck in Southborough. But my concern is a left turn out of that facility. I would suggest, and I'll probably bring it up if it goes to Urban Affairs, that there be no left turn out of that side of Maple Street. I have no problem with cars going in, but I've seen near misses and accidents on 85, not to your fault, it's just a bad intersection. And maybe with some reasoning, signage, and so forth, and when I was thinking, I didn't see this plan. I do see one issue: how is the traffic going to get back over to Walker Street? So, without going through the entire parking lot, but I still see it as an issue.
Right.
And I would ask that you review that and try to figure that out.
Right, and we did do a full speed study and sight distance analysis as part of our assessment. And certainly at that northern driveway, the left out doesn't meet the required criteria to make that maneuver in a safe manner, and that's why we recommended pushing it to the southern driveway. And that driveway does provide the distances that are required based on the 85th percentile travel speeds, but certainly the northern driveway, we concur entirely that it should be
restricted. Even on the southern entrance, it only shows as an entrance on your plan. It doesn't show it as an exit. You don't have an arrow on it, but that's the one I'm concerned about. And,
right.
And anyone on Maple Street, because if a car is going towards Southborough and decides to stop there to enter in from Route 85 into the plaza on that southern entrance, or exit I see issues of traffic trying to get out or in, especially in from it would be going towards Southborough or exiting towards Southborough on any part of the Maple Street side, I find concerning, and unfortunately, I've seen accidents. And you have a car stopping when the cars are coming down, trying to get ahead of each other, there's a chance they're not going to see the car trying to turn in or out. So I'm not for sure if it can be worked out, but I would ask you consider it, and it can be reviewed in Urban Affairs. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Actually, still back to traffic, so don't go too far. But if I'm at the coffees, at the window, and I'm going to be heading onto Walker Street, really the safest way is to go all the way around, because I
You have to, right?
have to go all the way around the building.
Absolutely.
So that, I just want to make sure that that was out there to Councilor Arum's point, because it's not a bad trip, because I did it going around the building earlier, but that does make it, traffic-wise, just somewhat, irritation more than anything else. But best of luck with the business, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Preciado.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being here. This is a very exciting plan. I think it's a great location for this business, aside from the traffic concerns the other councilors have turning onto Maple Street. I don't know how to fully address that. I know that the entrance at the end that you pointed out is a much safer exit. Dunkin' Donuts is the same situation. You can't, you're crossing over Maple Street to get northbound. If we let them do it, I think, with some maybe feasibility, we can be okay with this as well, being a turning, a weird exit turning situation there. I've seen accidents there. I know it's a little dangerous, but like I said, up the street, Maple Street, same situation. It is an exciting opportunity for the rest of those businesses around there, especially the car dealerships. I don't think people are gonna come into, it's a great spot because there's so many people come in to buy cars, and there's no other location around except Dunkin' Donuts as an option. That's also the same thing for people coming in and out of the city when they're looking for something quick in the morning or in the afternoon. So I think it serves quite a bit of the population as well as the businesses there. So I think overall it's pretty good. I'd love to see what the inside would look like in the next meeting. But aside from the Maple Street exit, I think this is a pretty straightforward plan. Thank you for being here.
If you have time, if any of you have time and want to come to the Saxonville Mills Cafe, it will have a similar feel. Obviously, it's a different type of building and everything else, but it will have that same feel. It's quite a cool, and you can try some of the pastries, which are fabulous as well.
Thank you, Councilor Preciado. Any other councilors? Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I hate to keep harping on it, but I do also have questions on the traffic, and specifically the more southern entrance on Maple. If I'm entering there, if I'm coming north and I enter there, now how do I get to the drive-through? Do I have to go all the way around the whole building?
You do.
What happens if somebody wants to cut through and go into that space where it looks like there's room for two cars? And go and then pull into a parking spot, back up, and do the drive-through.
I believe the site plan that doesn't have pretty colors on it shows there's signage. Sign here.
Well, Catherine's not at the microphone. Site plan did address that, and they were adamant about the signage directing traffic around the building so that you can't go left.
Yep.
Do
not enter signs, go this way signs, so that throughout you will have in your site plan some obvious.
All right, and maybe because unfortunately all we're doing is approving a drive-through, if we have the ability to get the info from site plan for plans for urban affairs, I think it would be helpful for us.
So, Councilperson, if I can help, and this was the architectural plan, and they shut off some of the stripage, right? So if you see that southern exit we're talking about, there's a two-way left and right turn coming out. So it cleans up a very open, kind of wide open, undelineated access and egress right now. And also, if you see where you're talking about, there's a big do not enter double line there. So there's signage and striping that's going to be very clear that that's one way coming out. So you can't cut through that way. And as Charlotte was saying, there's going to be a lot of signage that'll guide you around, and I think your fellow councilperson said it's not that bad a trip. I've done it myself.
No, I have also done it just out of curiosity
Right.
for this coming in.
But there's more signage and striping, and we gave you a plan that illustrates all of that.
Okay, and I guess maybe we can check with legal too, to our ability. 85 is a state road. I don't know if we can close an entrance that they've approved as being open or not. But we can check that out. And then, I'm sorry, can you restate what the name of the restaurant is in Framingham?
We got is one corporation, two different names. One is Saxonville Mills Cafe, and the other one is Andina Cafe.
And
The new one will be called Andina Cafe Stew.
And where is the Adina Cafe?
197 Concord Street,
Okay.
right in front of downtown.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor
And
Roby.
As soon as we get the language for the special permit, we can set up an urban affairs meeting and proceed.
Any other questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Any questions from the councilors? Seeing none, I close that portion of the public hearing, and the entire public hearing in this matter is before urban affairs. Agenda item number 4. Thank you.
Now's the time for the public hearing of the proposed zoning map amendment from Raimundo Neto, owner of 36 Jefferson Street, to rezone 36 Jefferson Street, identified as map 56, parcel 153, from Residence B to Neighborhood Business District, order number 24-109-330. This public hearing, order number 24-109-330, will be rescheduled to a new date and re-advertised with no testimony being taken at the January 27, 2025 City Council meeting.
So I'll entertain a motion to reschedule the public hearing to February 24th and advertise. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to reschedule the public hearing to February 24th.
Motion made and second to reschedule the public hearing to February 24th and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to be rescheduled to February 24th, and we will advertise it as well. Vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding notification of extension of temporary appointment pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 61A, of Michaela J. Spagone as interim city comptroller treasurer for an additional 60-day term effective January 14th, 2025.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file.
Motion made and second to accept and place on file. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The item is filed with a vote of 10-0. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding mid-year transfer requests totaling $928,828 from various departments for fiscal year 25, which moves funds from and to accounts as outlined in the transfer sheets.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee, please.
Motion made and second to refer the item to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, of those in favor? Opposed? The transfer is going to Finance. Votes 10-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding application for amendment to special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Garden Remedies, Inc., to allow for the relocation of the establishment from 416 Boston Post Road East to 423 Lakeside Avenue in proper legal form, order number 24-100-9306B.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept the communication from the solicitor and to move the language on the special permit to reports.
Motion made and second to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor and move this item to reports of committees. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication will be filed, and this is going to move down to reports of committee. Votes 10-0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jeremy McManus on behalf of Councilor Ossing regarding proposed zoning amendment relative to medical and adult use marijuana.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is just to accept and place on file.
No, this is refer to urban public.
But isn't that what I would do when we get to number 12?
No, 12's McGee Farm. This is the
Oh, I'm sorry, yes,
marijuana.
okay.
Yep.
I didn't have time to make notes, and I'm sort of acting on the fly here. Move to refer to Urban Affairs and the Planning Board, set a public hearing for February 24th and advertise.
Motion's made and seconded to refer this item to Urban Affairs, the Planning Board, set a public hearing for February 24th and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none of those in favor? Opposed? The item's going to Urban Affairs, the Planning Board, a public hearing for February 24th and advertise. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from Justin Millette, trustee of 1 Maple Terrace, regarding information on the proposed zoning map to include 1 Maple Terrace, identified as map 70, parcel 274 in the Marlborough Village District, order number 24-100, 9305B.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none of those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed. 10-0. Agenda item number 10.
Application for renewal of a taxi livery license from Nathan Subublia, DBA Indelible Home Care, Inc., to operate a livery service with 1 vehicle at 97 Neal Street. In addition, we have a communication from Police Chief Georgie regarding the renewal of the taxi livery license for Nathan Subublia, and he has no objections to the renewal.
Councilor Ficillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Based on the communication from Chief Georgie, I move to approve the renewal of the livery service.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the livery service. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The livery service is approved. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 11.
Application for a special permit from McDonald's USA LLC for a proposed restaurant with a drive-through facility use within the Wayside District at 735 Boston Post Road East.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Please let the record show that I'm recusing myself from this.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. We'll let the record reflect that Councilor Doucette will not be participating. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer this to Urban Affairs, set a public hearing for February 24th and advertise.
Motion made and seconded to refer this item to Urban Affairs. We'll advertise a public hearing for February 24th and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, of those in favor? Opposed? It is approved 9-0 with 1 abstention to go to Urban Affairs, set a public hearing for February 24th and to advertise. Agenda item number 12.
Application for amendment to a special permit from 339 Boston Post Road Owner LLC regarding to modify a condition of an existing special permit to alter the language relative to certain traffic calming improvements for the project being built at 339 Boston Post Road East.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer this to Urban Affairs, the Planning Board, set a public hearing for February 24th and advertise.
Yeah, I don't know that this has to go to the planning board, this one. This is just a,
It's not zoning?
no, this is just us
Okay,
amending this.
never mind. Only refer to Urban Affairs.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Urban Affairs Committee. We'll set a public hearing for February 24th and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? This item's going to Urban Affairs with a February 24th public hearing and advertise. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item 13.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion made and seconded, accept and place on file all the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed 10-0. Reports of committees. Who wants to go first? Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City Council Veterans Affairs Committee met on January 13th at 7 p.m. Voting members present were the Chair, Councilor Brown, and Councilor Vital. We were also joined by Councilors Ossing, Ficillo, Irish, Roby, Orem, Doucette, and Preciado. Acting DPW Commissioner Ted Scott and Veterans Director Mike Hennessy were on hand to discuss the order. Chair began by reading the order, and then Commissioner Scott and Director Hennessy reviewed the issues with the committees and the other councilors that were present. Commissioner Scott explained the makeup of the DPW Division of Forestry, Parks and Recreation and Cemeteries. There are currently 4 vacancies. 1 of those are in cemeteries. The Commissioner explained how the employees are being cross-trained to maintain flexibility among the 3 units and the ability to cover events such as Memorial Day as needed. Commissioner also stated that the stones are repaired on a case-by-case basis after reviewing reasons for damage, and if the stones are historic, the city does try to make repairs, as there is often no family remaining to do so. Director Hennessy explained the role of the federal government in repairing historic gravestones and that of stones of other veterans. He's been working with longtime volunteer Matt Sargent and the Historical Society. The replacement stones would be delivered to any location that's requested by the city if they're approved by the VA. There has also been ongoing work to complete an audit of veteran headstones and grave markers. The Commissioner noted that he would also like to include all stones, not just the stones of veterans. chair asked for the best way for people who are interested in helping to do so, and the commissioner explained that the best way is to call DPW and his well-trained team will follow through. He added there are ongoing volunteer efforts, including Eagle Scouts as well as some others. Councilor Brown asked about the sinking stones, and the director stated that Mr. Sargent has also looked at this issue. Some are being reset, and however, some historic stones need to be handled differently due to their size and weight. The volunteers were also lucky to receive a piece of equipment from the Italian American Veterans Club to assist with the work of hoisting the stones. Councilor Vital explained his concerns and asked why there is no longer a cemetery commission. Commissioner Scott was not aware of the reasons, but did explain that the duties were placed in the hands of the DPW commissioner by an ordinance change enacted by the City Council. Councilor Vital stated that he would like to see a program for the tracking of repairs and plaques. Councilor Orm inquired about the cemetery owned by the Catholic Archdiocese in disrepair for many years, including some very old and sunken burial lots. The chair asked if the city would help facilitate any VA replacement gravestones at cemeteries that were not owned and operated by the city. The commissioner agreed that they would do so, and the director also agreed to make inquiries with a local representative on behalf of the Archdiocese. Councilor Roby inquired why the date of April 1st for each year was chosen for the submittal of a report to the City Council, and the chair replied that it was chosen due to the timeline of the capital and operating budget, as well as the beginning of the cemetery maintenance season. Councilor Ossing expressed concerns that there are no available rules for expending funds. Commissioner Scott stated that he had the same question earlier on and was told he could only spend the interest of the account. Councilor Ossing stated that there should be written guidelines indicating how the funds could be spent. On a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the committee recommended approval of the order with the following conditions. 1, the establishment of written guidelines indicating how the funds can be expended, and 2, the establishment of a program for tracking the repairs to stones and plaques. On a motion by Councilor Brown, the committee adjourned at 7:47.
Thank you, Councilor Nevin.
Thank you.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Urban Affairs Committee met on January 13th. We had 2 items on our agenda. The first one was order number 24-109-306, an application for amended special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Garden Remedies Incorporated to allow for the relocation of the adult use retail and medical marijuana established from the current location at 416 Boston Post Road East to 423 Lakeside Avenue. Present were Attorney Falk and Jeff Harold, Garden Remedies Chief Executive Officer. The chair read through the comments that were received from the managers and began review of the draft decision. Councilor Doucette pointed out the need to clarify east on the address on Post Road. Chair Roby clarified the special permit would increase the hours of operation. Councilor Ossing asked that the number of members who submitted letters in favor to be specified. The dates for the attachment A and B need to be included, and pointed out that there would be no on-site consumption or use of marijuana at the new site. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend the council approve the draft notice of decision grant of amended special permit with the following amendments. Finding of facts number 2, add east. Finding of facts number 8, add in the date of the plans described as attachment A. Finding of facts number 13, add in the number of members who submitted the letters in favor of the use. Add in the date of attachment B and findings D 16 and 17. The motion was seconded, and the vote carried 3-1 with Councilor Nevin voting no. Councilor Landers was absent. The committee did request that this be sent to the solicitor to be put in proper form for tonight's meeting. We have that on our agenda as number 7. I would move to suspend the rules to be able to vote for this evening.
Motion made and seconded to suspend the rules. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries 10-0.
Move the recommendation of committee to approve.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the recommendation of the committee. I'll ask the clerk to please read the conditions. Sit back, everyone.
The City Council, pursuant to its authority under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, and the zoning ordinance of the City of Marlborough, hereby grants the applicant an amendment to the original special permit, the first amended special permit, and the second amended special permit, in order to relocate and operate a medical marijuana treatment center and an adult use marijuana retail establishment at 423 Lakeside Avenue, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant, its successors, and/or assigns. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction at the new site is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. 2, compliance with applicable laws. The applicant agrees to comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules, regulations, and ordinances as they may apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of the use at the new site. 3, site plan review. The use at the new site is further subject to site plan review in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the building permit as required by Section 650-32E. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and no final occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all the conditions provided. However, that subsequent to the issuance of the special permit and site plan approval, the Site Plan Review Committee may authorize the phasing of site and building work depending upon weather conditions and other factors. Site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of the special permit, and the material submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 4, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application or as amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or the City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 5, compliance with state requirements. In accordance with Section 650-1845C and Section 650-1846C of the zoning ordinance, the use at the new site shall comply with all statutes and regulations of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the licensure and operation of a medical marijuana treatment center and/or an adult use marijuana retail establishment. 6, transition from original site to new site. A, until such time as the applicant commences marijuana sales at the new site, the original special permit, the first amended special permit, and the second amended special permit shall continue unmodified to govern the use at the original site. Once the applicant commences marijuana sales at the new site, the decision shall exclusively govern the use, and the use shall be not conducted or reintroduced at the original site. B, the applicant shall not commence marijuana sales at the new site until marijuana sales at the original site have terminated. The applicant shall provide written notice to the building commissioner as to the commencement of sales date at the new site. C, the applicant may obtain a building permit and other permits to build out the tenant space at the new site, stock the new site with equipment and inventory, conduct administrative work at the new site, and conduct employee training at the new site, in addition to other activities not constituting marijuana sales at the new site, while marijuana sales at the original site continue. D, consistent with the city sign ordinance, the applicant may install signage at the new site while marijuana sales at the original site continue, including temporary signage alerting customers to the relocation of the use. Not later than 60 days following the relocation of the use to the new site and the termination of marijuana sales at the original site, all signage for the use at the original site shall be removed, with the exception of temporary signage alerting customers to the relocation of the use to the new site. 7, partial use. Subject to condition 6, the applicant is not required to operate all portions of the use at the new site simultaneously. The applicant may commence either the medical marijuana treatment center portion of the use or the adult use marijuana retail establishment portion of the use at the new site upon receipt of all local and state permits and licenses for the respective portion of the use, and commence with the other portion of the use at the new site at a later date. Similarly, if either the medical marijuana treatment center portion of the use or the adult use marijuana retail establishment portion of the use ceases, either temporarily or permanently, the applicant may operate the other portion of the use. Once any portion of the use commences at the new site, that portion of the use may not be conducted or reintroduced at the original site. 8, security. A, at the new site, the applicant shall maintain a secure entrance, lobby, waiting area, providing a physical separation between the exterior door of the unit and the interior areas of the unit where marijuana and marijuana-infused products are to be dispensed and sold, and secured with security personnel available during operating hours to screen individuals arriving at the unit, to ensure that interior areas of the unit are only accessible to qualified patients, caregivers, or persons over the age of 21, and to ensure that no individual poses a direct threat to the health or safety of others. B, the applicant shall maintain a secure pickup and drop-off area for patients, customers, and products at the new site. C, the use at the new site shall have opaque exterior windows. D, the applicant shall maintain adequate staffing so that patients and customers may make their purchases in an efficient manner to avoid queuing and impacts on the neighboring uses at the new site. E, the applicant shall maintain surveillance cameras capable of 24-hour video recording, archiving recordings, and the ability to immediately produce images in, on, around, or at the use at the new site. 9, processing and odors. There shall be no processing or manufacturing of marijuana or marijuana-infused products at the site as part of the use at the new site. Marijuana and marijuana products shall be prepackaged and sealed prior to arriving at the new site. Any odors associated with marijuana and marijuana-infused products shall be limited to the interior of the unit. There shall be no on-site consumption or use of marijuana or marijuana-infused products associated with the use at the new site. 10 hours. The maximum hours of operation of the use at the new site shall be Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 11, contact information. The applicant shall provide current contact information of management and staff to the chief of police, the building commissioner, and the city council. 12, annual reports. The applicant shall submit to the city council the same annual reports that must be provided to the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 13, inspection and records. The applicant shall make the use available for regular inspections by city officials or their agents, and shall provide city officials or their agents with access to the same records which are available for inspection to the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 14, background checks. The applicant shall require that employees undergo a criminal background check, including but not limited to a query and an additional background check by the chief of police, who shall have the authority to disapprove the employment of any person or persons as a result of said background check. 15, unrelated materials. The applicant shall not make available for sale as part of the use at the new site any materials or items unrelated to the sale of marijuana, including, without limitation, tobacco products, clove cigarettes, or e-cigarettes. 16, police detail. The applicant shall employ a City of Marlborough police detail at the new site in the event that the chief of police determines, in a letter filed with the city council, that a police detail is necessary at certain times during the operation of the use. In the event a City of Marlborough police detail is not available when required, the applicant shall obtain a private detail. And 17, recording of decision. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant at its expense shall record this special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 28-day period for appealing the special permit has elapsed with no appeal having been filed and before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the city council office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Take it a while. All right, councilors, you heard the conditions. Are there any other comments on the conditions? Hearing none. On the motion to approve the special permit, this will be a roll call vote. I will ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Councilor Preciado.
Yes.
Councilor Oram.
Yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Yes.
Councilor Irish.
Yes.
Councilor Landers is absent. Councilor Roby.
Yes.
Councilor Fucillo.
Yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Yes.
Councilor Vital.
Yes.
And Councilor Nathan.
No.
9 yea, 1 no, 1 nay, and 1 absence.
The special permit for the relocation of Garden Remedies is approved by a vote of 9 in favor, 1 opposed. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I should have asked if it was okay to take these sort of like that. but
You're doing fine.
It worked well. Now the clerk can rest for a minute. The second item on our agenda was order number 24-100-9298, an application for a special permit from attorney Christopher Flood on behalf of Annabelle Guillermo Sarkor to convert an existing two-family residential property located at 30 Maple Street to a three-family residential property. Present were Attorney Flood and Mr. Sarkor. The chair reminded members they had a copy of the report of the public hearing. The chair read through the decision on the special permit. Councilor Ossing suggested adding in information on who spoke and noted that the mayor doesn't sign special permits, so that can be deleted from the copy. And details on the plans should be included in the conditions. Chair Roby requested that there be an additional condition that clarified how the owner would surrender and convert to storage unit D. After discussion, it was agreed that the condition would include removing the plumbing in the bathroom and capping it. Chair Roby also suggested that having arborvitaes planted along the fence will help the concern of noise that a neighbor brought up at the public hearing. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of the draft decision on the special permit with the following amendments. Include details on who spoke at the public hearing, add in details of the plans in D3, add in condition that Unit D would be surrendered and converted in storage and the fixtures in the bathroom would be removed and plumbing capped. Add in condition that arborvitaes will be planted along with the fence line to screen the neighbors behind the property, and that the last page with signatures be changed to include appropriate information. The motion was seconded and the vote carried 4-0. Councilor Landers was absent. Attorney Flood is going to be making changes. I'm reporting this out tonight. We'll ask for a suspension, but I will first note that in the discussions between our Secretary and Mr. Flood, it was suggested that we clarify the height of the arborvitaes, so I guess what's appropriate is that this body take a vote to add in, I can suspend the rules so that this body can add in the words 6 foot in front of arborvitaes, and then that language, which the solicitor already has, will be there. Is that?
Councilor Roby has requested a suspension of the rules. All those in favor? Opposed? Suspension carries. Councilor Roby.
So move to add in 6 foot arborvitaes within the language, the condition that the arborvitaes be planted along the fence line.
Motion made and seconded to add in the 6 foot requirement for the arborvitaes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It carries 10-0.
And then move to refer this to the solicitor to be put in proper form and on a future agenda.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the solicitor to be put in proper form. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to the solicitor. The vote's 10-0. Any other reports of committees? Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public service announcement, the Finance Committee will meet on February 3rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Any other reports of committees? Councilor Naven.
Move to adjourn.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:45. Thank you, everyone. Have a